Hi, this is Ginger with Going Great. I have the pleasure to introduce you to Robert Renzoni. We're at his charming winery, which happens to be one of my customers' favorite wineries to come to. Robert, I would love for you to tell the viewers that haven't been able to come here yet what your winery is all about, the history of your family, and why you started this here in Temecula.
Ginger, first of all, thank you for coming today and sitting down with me today, and it's been a pleasure working with you for this past year. It's been really a wonderful experience, and our customers here, they bring love coming here. We love serving them, and so I wanted to say that first and foremost. In light of what Ginger just asked, my family's been in the wine business since 1886. I am fourth generation winemaker in my family. Started off back in Fano, Italy, off the northeast Adriatic coast in northern Italy. My great-grandfather, Federico, started making wine at the ripe age of 16 years old. He was a commercial fisherman at the time, and started making wines for friends and family for fun. And after he started dabbling in that a little bit, his friends and family said they thought he had a better knack for making wine than actually catching fish. So they thought he should pursue a new career, so he did that. He started making wine on a professional basis, eventually moved to the States in the early 1900s, in which he settled in Buffalo, New York, and started making wine in cordials and selling them in local taverns and saloons and bars, what have you, downtown Buffalo. And that went on to 1918 to Prohibition started, and then they kind of became bootleggers, believe it or not. And home construction. I don't think you get much more Italian than that. Home contractors and no mafia, but
Italian bootleggers, though.
Italian bootleggers. Yeah, my grandfather used to tell me stories about taking a rowboat across the Niagara River and smuggling booze coming from Canada, smuggling booze under the underground caves under the city of Buffalo. Some crazy stories. But 1933, Prohibition ended, and family started a legal company called the Italian and French Wine Company. They weren't too creative with the name back in the day. The only available products were Italian and French wine imports, and so that's what they named the company. I think I would have named it a little something different, a little more creative, but oh well, that was 1934. What can you do? So anyway, they started distributing wines, importing wines from, again, Italy, France, and later Germany. In the early 40s, then they hooked up with some Italian immigrants who settled in Northern California, little names such as Lorenzo Cella, Cesar Mondavi, and August Sebastiani. And these gentlemen were supplying my family with juice. We had contracted vineyards, which they would pick the fruit for us, crush the grapes, and then ship the juice across the country, which we would then make the wine back in Buffalo.
So you have a big history with Mondavi and Sebastiani.
Yep.
Wow.
Actually, the reason my name is on the label is a true story. Robert Mondavi suggested it to my grandfather over 30 years ago because it sounded so much like his. And so when I was deciding whether just to use Renzoni Vineyards or Robert Renzoni, my father and I sat down and talked in the family, and we said, you know, it was my grandfather's dying wish to have my name on the label, my full name. And so that's why my name is actually on the label.
Oh, that sounds
From
great.
Robert Mondavi. Yeah.
From Robert Mondavi, that's
Yeah.
great. Wow, what a great connection.
Yeah, fly. Anyway, so with that being said, my family was involved with distributing and making their own wine. We eventually, by the time we sold our company in 1994, represented over 3,000 brands from worldwide. My father joined the company full-time in 1959, and one of the original guys who really took the wine industry to the next level. He actually brought Sutter Home and Kendall Jackson to the East Coast and distributed those brands before Sutter Home even made White Zinfandel, and Kendall Jackson even made Chardonnay. And I'm sure we all know that those are the flagship products that those companies made, and we'll put them on the map. So that's one of his claims to fame. We were also, back in the 50s, my grandfather, we were the original wine distributor for Canandaigua Wine Company, which is now called Constellation Brands, which, for example, is now the largest wine conglomerate in the entire world today. Give you an example, they bought Robert Mondavi Winery a few years ago for $1.2 billion. Wow. And they actually started making, their very first product that they sold was Richard's Wild Irish Rose. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but you've probably heard of Thunderbird.
Yes.
Thunderbird is Gallo's copycat
Okay.
of Richard's Wild Irish Rose. Wild Irish Rose was the original. And that's helped pave the road for Canandaigua, and my grandfather was behind that.
Well, that is just an incredible history of your family with wine and winemaking and, I guess, bootlegging.
Bootlegging, yeah.
But what brought you here to Temecula, Robert?
I was introduced to Temecula back in 2000, I want to say 3. And thought it was a beautiful property. Just being born and raised in the wine business, and the region itself was absolutely gorgeous. And some say that the terroir and soil type climate elevation is the closest out of any wine region in the entire world to that of Tuscany, Italy. And my family's originally from Tuscany, Italy. Florence originally, and then moved over to Fano, which I mentioned previously. That being said, I wanted to buy a house for an investment. I came out here, bought a home. It took about a year to construct. And during that time, when I finally moved out here, I went to a local winery here and was working for one of the local wineries here in town. And about a year into it, I saw an opportunity to bring my family's history and heritage and tradition to Temecula. I wanted to build the Italian winery of Temecula. And we focus predominantly on Italian varietals here. We're the only winery in the valley to do so. 95% of the wine production here at our winery is our Italian varietals. So,
Speaking of which, let our viewers know what are the wines that you do produce here.
we produce a Pinot Grigio, we produce Sangiovese, we produce a Super Tuscan, we produce an Old Vine Zinfandel, we produce a Moscato, Barbera. Right now we have Tempranillo in the works. We have a product called Concerto, which is a Zinfandel Syrah Merlot blend. We also make a Riesling style wine, which is made from 100% Malvasia Bianca, named Bellissimo. And we make a rosé from Sangiovese called La Rosa in honor of my late grandmother, Rose.
Speaking of which, I noticed that you have a marinara sauce that is named after Mama Rosa.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
It's an old recipe. I tasted some friends who were in the business on it one night, and they suggested that I should jar it and sell it. I said, hey, not a bad idea. Why not? So we put the recipe together. We made about 5 cases of sauce one night and put it out on a Sunday, and it all sold out that day.
I was one of the customers that day that bought it.
There you go.
It is delicious, and you know what I like about the fact of your sauce is that you are not getting a generic brand and slapping your label on it. It is your grandmother's recipe, and it's authentic, and it is delicious. Bellissimo.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. I use it every day when I can.
It's unbelievable. Whoever thought I guess I should have gotten the sauce business. I don't know. I mean, with the amount of wine we sell, which is absolutely wonderful, who would have thought how much sauce we sell? But we can't keep up with the demand of the sauce. It's hysterical.
I think it's great.
Thank
great.
you.
But I also notice it looks like you're coming out with a port.
Yes, this is our port bottle. We are actually going to be introducing the very first authentic Portuguese grape-made port in the history of Temecula, made exclusively from the Torrega grape, which we sourced from Madeira, California, up north. And 2 years in aging, and it's because the product's going to be called Paradiso, which means heaven or paradise in the translation. We can't call it port anymore due to the laws, but it really is an authentic port.
It's absolutely a beautiful bottle.
We made we took the crest. It took me about 6 months to find a company that could do it. We found a company that could make the crest out of real pewter metal and adhere it to the bottle.
Well, I know your wines are great. My customers just love coming here each time we visit.
Thank
You
you.
treat them well. Your staff is so friendly and wonderful.
Thank you.
You give great discounts for them as well, which is very appreciative. And I would just love to give a toast to you and your first anniversary to Robert Renzoni Vineyards and Winery. Everybody come, live, love, and taste at Robert Renzoni.
Thank you.